Hi everyone, I've just put the pussycat in the other room so he won't sort of interrupt me when I'm doing this little video. This is a little bit different to what I normally put up. This phone I just received today from eBay from Israel, and yeah, I must admit when the package arrived I thought it was broken because the little induction coil, this part here, I'll point it out, was actually loose inside. It had come away from its little clip, but no problem. Also the spring set that you can see there needed a little adjustment. This to me indicated that the phone had received a knock on the way, but not to worry, it was very well packed, and all credit goes to the sender who really did pack it well, as most of these phones arrived well packed. I remember when bringing lamps in from other countries or from local, how they can be boxed and they arrived intact. So yeah, I was well pleased. Anyway, with this one, this is an example of how they're received, and they will always need a little job. Here, down there, if I can point to it again, there's a very faint crack, but not to worry, a bit of Araldite will clear that and it won't show. The rest of it looks fairly good. Let's turn him round. That part is the regulator, slightly different to the regulator used in the 706, but nevertheless does the same thing. You've got your components there which you probably recognise. There's a thermistor there which, funny enough, had been shorted out. It had been twisted, so those two wires were actually shorting. Well, I've corrected that. On the other side could be a replacement to the little thermistor bottle that you get on regulators. This has been either changed to the type used on the 746, but nevertheless it's a good repair. If it is a repair, and it works okay. The regulator is not plugged in, it's actually bolted to the side of the chassis. Also, which I did know about because I could see it in the picture, or the lack of it in the picture, is on the top here you've got these little extensions that operate the switch. The little plastic pieces are actually missing. Not a major problem. I should be able to find a couple of those somewhere along the line, but not to worry. The rest of it, as I say, very similar to our 706. You've even got the bell down there, which is very similar. In fact, it probably is the same bell. There is an adjuster which I'll show you on the back to turn the volume down, which was not on the English 706s. I did point to the anti-side tone induction coil. As I say, that had popped out. Fortunately there was no damage done, it's just a case of popping it back in again. It's a little clamp on the side there. All the other bits are more or less like you'd find in the English 706. You see at the back of the regulator there's that long rectifier stack, and I say this is all to do with the regulating the sound and the balance and that on long and short lines. But unlike the 706, you can't turn the card the other way around to blank the card out. The card is obviously left in circuit the whole time. The reason for the thermistor was possibly to prevent bell tinkling. I don't know whether they use these on shared service, which would be another reason why they're there. You'd get or could get bell tinkle. Standard dial. I won't take the case off, the cover off. It's one of our trigger type dials. These may have even been made in Israel. I don't know, but they are identical to the English ones. Looking at the back, you've got your set of contacts, which are also the same. Your row of contacts, 1, 2, whatever it is. I'm number blind, so I'm going to have to look at it. There we are, you've got your set of contacts there. Top row starts at 1, goes to the end, and it starts again and goes to the end. They are exactly the same. As far as I know, it's wired up the same. I did craftily try it out. Now let me show. That is the kind of plug that was on it. It's obviously one they used before they used our type of modular plug. And I say our type of modular plug because it was exactly the same type of plug. I don't know if any other countries use the same one as we do. I don't think they do. Most of them use the American size. But yep, they use the same as ours. And that was the plug which was used previously. They're well made. This one shows the trademark of the deer. And did I mention? No, I didn't mention who made this phone and what model it is. Excuse me looking at my piece of paper. This is made by Telrad. That name appears on the side tone coil. Telrad. Its model of the phone is 115/50. That's 115/50, and it was made by made for the Israeli telecommunications organisation, which was Bezeq, Bezeq. I presume that's how it's pronounced. Now look at the rest of the stuff, the same. As I say, the reason it doesn't look very clean is because it has just arrived in the post. The handsets are exactly the same as the 706. Now looking at the case, and I was lucky, although this has had a knock, as far as I know, on the journey coming over, the only damage looks like the induction coil has been knocked out. I know there was a little crack under there as well. That may have been done at the same time, I don't know. But I can remedy that by the use of some araldite, so no problem there. This is the case. You can see standard case. The only difference is it has the metal carrying handle, which our 706s never had. They did, I think, one time replace it with a plastic strip, which was as good as useless. It cracked. Also, you have the name. This is, I don't know which way round it is. So someone from Israel can probably tell me all about that. That's the trademark on this phone. And I say the other trademark which you often see is that antelope or deer, which is their trademark. Also, when I turn this over, maybe a little bit grubby inside, but the most important thing inside, we're looking at it now. I don't know if I got it around the right way. Hold on. Yeah, I think you view it this way round. I'll hold it on there, so if anyone's wanting to have a look at it or check the actual wiring, that is the schematic diagram. You've got your regulator shown, the induction coil, it's all there. Probably laid out slightly different to our ones, but they're workable. And it shows the plug, I believe. Yeah, at the top there you've got a picture of that plug and the wiring up. I took the plug off so that I could have a crafty check to see if the phone worked, and lo and behold, it did work. Transmission was a little bit low, but it worked. It rang, so the thermistor's okay now. And yeah, I think that's all. Anyway, any questions please ask. I will perhaps show this when it's cleaned up. It's shown at the moment in its state of being to be cleaned up. I think I've mentioned it all. I've taken the other bell off on the other side there, because that is where I've got to run a little bit of araldite. You see it under there, just a very slight crack, but I'll do it while I can. So just run a little bit of araldite on there and on the reserve. I was going to show you the reverse side. Turn him over, and we've got the other side. The only difference between the Mark 1, which was the UK version with the plastic base and hardwired, the only difference is this part there, and that I'm glad to say is still there, because I think these parts could get lost. And it regulates the bell, which you didn't see on the English versions. Nothing else written on the base, probably worn off. And as I say, there's a very slight crack there where it's gone, so I'd probably float a little gentle amount of araldite just on there to hold it. I could get away with that without doing that, but I'd feel better if it is done. So yep, I think that's it. Any questions please ask. I'll try to get back. I think I've said everything on there. There's nothing on the back there. No, that's one thing I did notice. All the English phones, all their gongs have got numbers on them, but not these. I don't know why, but they haven't, which is noticeable by its absence. And I'm trying to find things to say now, so I think it's a good time for me to stop. And I'll put this up on YouTube, and as I say, once it's been all nicely cleaned up and repaired where necessary, I'll put it up again. Thanks for watching. Thank you, I do appreciate it.